Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a mushroom man, and we're going to be kind of using the same base pattern as we did for the simple teddy bear, so you might see some similarities. But for this pattern we're going to be using white, medium weight acrylic yarn, as well as red, and you're going to need 10mm safety eyes and a 4mm crochet hook. So let's get right into it. We're going to be starting by making the arms. So we're going to make a magic ring and make 6 single crochet into your magic ring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we're going to close up our magic ring nice and tight and slip stitch into our first single crochet. Perfect. And now we're going to increase around so that we should go from 6 stitches to 12. So to the first one, we'll make 2 single crochets, 2, and the next one, 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, and 8, 9, and 10, 11, and 12. So we should have 12 stitches all the way around. So we're going to be, for the next rounds of 3 to 8, we're going to be just single crocheting around. So I'm going to grab a stitch marker to help me keep track of the beginning so I don't have to count every single time. And we'll just start our rounds. As you may notice for this pattern, or I don't use the standard single crochet of yarning under, I always yarning over, sorry, I always yarn under pretty much, so I have my hook facing down and I grab it like this instead of going over like this. I grab it like that. And I like doing this single crochet because it gives it kind of an X appearance, which is just personal preference, which you can use the original one if you want. It's completely up to you. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish rounds 3 to 8 off camera, and then when I get back, I'll show you how to finish off this arm. And once you have reached up to round 8 of the arm, we're just going to make 2 slip stitches. I like to do this so that you don't have like an abrupt drop off at the end of the row. Just make 2 slip stitches and make them nice and loose so that you can sew into them later, and then fasten off and cut your yarn. But we want to leave a nice long piece at the end for sewing the arm on later. So there. And you're going to want to make 2 of these. And after you've made the 2 arms, we're going to go on to make the legs. So we're just going to make another magic ring. And we're going to start the same way with making 6 single crochets. Sorry, that first one didn't work out very well. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we're just going to close that off. And again, slip stitch into our first one to close up our circle. first one's always the tightest, and my mess up sure didn't help me. Oh, there we go. Perfect. And then we'll just slip stitch if we can. There we go. And then we are going to increase around to go from 6 single crochet to 12. So just make 2 single crochets in every stitch around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Perfect. And then for our next round, we're going to be repeating doing 1 single crochet in the first stitch, and then an increase or 2 single crochet into the second stitch. And I'm just going to put a stitch marker in here, and I'll show you a little bit closer. So 1 single crochet followed by an increase or 2 single crochet in the same stitch. And we're going to repeat this around, and then we should end up with 18 stitches in this next round. There we go. And then for our next round, round 4 through 10, we're just going to single crochet around, keeping 18 stitches after every single round. And of course you're going to need to make 2 legs, but for when you make the second one, you don't want to fasten off because we're just going to work off of that second leg to connect them and then continue onto the body. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish these off camera. I'll come back and show you again how to fasten off the first leg. So after you've completed round 10 of the first leg, we're just going to slip stitch like once or twice if you need to, and then fasten off. You do not need to leave a large tail for this one because we're just going to be connecting it to the other one as we continue to sew. So just leave a small one, just enough to not let it unravel easily. And then you're going to make another leg like this, but do not fasten off and cut the yarn like I just showed. Just make another one and then come back here, and then I'll show you what to do next. After you have finished round 10 of the second leg, we are going to chain 3. And you don't want to twist the chain when you're doing this, but you're going to slip stitch, or sorry, no, we're going to single crochet to attach it to the next leg, just like so. And this is going to be starting a new round, so our next round starts will be right here. So we're going to single crochet around this leg, and you should still have 18 stitches around, counting the first one. So 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17, 18. This is the last one. I'm gonna do it right here. And then we're going to single crochet across the one side of the chain. So I'm going to be going into these loops right here. My chain is upside down, so I'm going to be going into, we're just going to be single crocheting our way across this chain through the one loop. And then after you've gone through, it should look something like this. So then we're going to single crochet into the next stitch available on this leg, and we're just going to work our way around the second leg as well. And then we're going to single crochet across these three. So I would always single crochet on one loop on one side and one loop on the other side, and chain stitches have 3 loops, or they use 3 loops, so then there's always one section kind of going up the center yet. So just single crochet here yet, and then single crochet into the first stitch, attach the leg, and that is our next round done. We're going to just be single crocheting around, keeping our same 48 stitches for rounds 12 through 24. We're just going to be single crocheting, keeping the same stitch count, again for rounds 12 through 24. So I am just going to go ahead and finish that off camera, and then once I finish that, I'll be right back to show you what to do next. So after we have completed round 24, for our next round, we're going to be doing a repeat of 20 single crochet and then a decrease. And if we repeat this around, we should have 40 stitches in this row. So we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and decrease. And then repeat around again. Or pretty much you're just going to single crochet until there's 2 stitches left and do a decrease if you don't feel like counting. There. And we should have 40 stitches around now. Alright, and then for round 26, we're going to be making 8 single crochet followed by a decrease. And we're going to repeat this around so that we have 4 less stitches, and we should end up with 36 stitches around. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then a decrease. And then again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and a decrease. And you're just going to repeat this the whole way around, and then come back here when you're ready for round 27. All right, and now for round 27, our repeat is going to be 7 single crochet and a decrease. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and a decrease. And after this round, you should have 32 stitches in your row. So I'm just gonna go finish this off camera, and then I'll be back for the next round. And for round number 28, our repeat is going to be 6 single crochet followed by a decrease. Four, 5, 6, and a decrease. And after this row, you should have 28 stitches. Beautiful. And to finish off our row, I'm going to slip stitch twice because of the decrease here. I don't like the way it looks when I just end it like that. So I'm going to slip stitch twice before I fasten off, and then cut the yarn. There we go. And at this point, we can go ahead and stuff the body. So I'm just gonna grab your polyester fiber fill, whatever you're using to stuff it. We're just going to want to comfortably stuff it because we're going to add the head on later, and then before we connect it completely, we'll finish stuffing it. So just enough so that you can still nicely sew around the top. So I'll just put everything in here that I have. And it should be good. And then we're ready for the head. All right, and now for the head, we're going to make 6 single crochet into a magic ring. So, oops. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. There we go. And then we're going to slip stitch into the first stitch. And then for round 2, we're going to make an increase in every stitch around so that we go from 6 stitches to 12. So 1, oh man. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Perfect. And then our next round, after I get this last single crochet done, is going to be 1 single crochet followed by an increase, and we're going to repeat that around to get our stitches from 12 to 18. So 1 single crochet in the first stitch, increase in the next stitch. There we go. And put our stitch marker in here. And then 1 single crochet, and then 1 increase. 1 single crochet, 1 increase. And then for our next round, we're going to make 2 single crochet followed by an increase. 1, 2, and then an increase. And that should get our stitch count up to 24. And 4. You're just going to repeat this around. And now for round 5, we're going to make 3 single crochet followed by an increase. 3, and then an increase. One, 2, 3, and an increase. And we're going to repeat this around, and we should have 30 stitches at the end of this round. And for round 6, we're going to make 4 single crochet followed by an increase. 1, 2, 3, and 4, followed by an increase. And we'll be repeating that around, and you should have 36 stitches at the end of this row. And our repeat for round 7 will be 5 single crochets followed by an increase. 3, 4, 5, and then our increase. And we're going to repeat this around and have 42 stitches around at the end of this row. And then for round 8, we're going to make 6 single crochet followed by an increase. 3, 4, 5, 6, and then an increase. And at the end of this round, you should have 48 stitches. And then for rounds 9 through 18, we're just going to single crochet around, keeping the same number of 48 stitches in each row. Or each round, sorry. So I'm just gonna finish rounds 9 through 18 off camera, and then once I come back, we'll start decreasing. And for our next round, we're going to be making 6 single crochets followed by a decrease. which should bring our stitch count back down to 36. Four, 5, 6, and then a decrease. And you're just going to repeat that around, and then we'll go to the next round. For our next round, we're going to have 5 single crochet followed by a decrease, and that will be our repeat for this round. So 3, 4, 5, and a decrease. And this should bring it down from 36 to 30 stitches around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a decrease. So I'll just finish this row as well. For our next round, our repeat is going to be 4 single crochet followed by a decrease. 2, 3, 4, and then a decrease. And this should get our count down from 36 to 30. Oops. So once you finish that, just come back here and I'm just going to finish this row and then I'll come back and show you what the last row of the head is. And for our last round, we're going to do 13 stitches followed by a decrease. And this is to get our stitch count from 30 down to 28, which is the same amount that we have around the top of the body. So this is for connecting later. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and then a decrease. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13, and then our last decrease. And then to make a smoother end, because of our decrease, we're just going to make 2 slip stitches before fastening it off and cutting our yarn. So that's the size of our head. And now it's on to the mushroom hat. And now for the mushroom hat, we're going to take our red yarn and we're going to make 6 single crochet into a magic ring. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Slip stitch back into your first single crochet. right, and then we're going to increase the whole way around, so we should go from 6 to 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And then our next repeat is going to be 1 single crochet followed by an increase. And this should get you from 12 stitches to 18 stitches around. So 1 single crochet followed by an increase. 1 single crochet followed by an increase. And then for our next round, we're going to make 2 single crochets followed by an increase. And this will be your repeat around to get 24 stitches around. And then for our next round, we're going to single crochet again, and you should keep 24 single crochets this round. So just single crochets, no increases or anything. And after you finish your round of single crochets, we're going to start increasing again. So we're going to have 3 single crochets followed by an increase. And this should take you up to 30 stitches around. So again, 1, 2, 3, followed by an increase. So I'll just finish this round and be back for our 7th round. And for our 7th round, our repeat is going to be 4 single crochet followed by an increase. So 1, 2, 3, 4, followed by an increase. And at the end of this round, you should have 36 stitches around. And now for round 8, we're going to make 4 single crochet followed by an increase. And this should take us from 36 stitches to 42. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then an increase. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and an increase. And you'll do this 4 more times to reach the end of the row. And now for round 9, we're going to be doing 6 single crochet and then an increase, which should get us up to 48 stitches around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 being the increase, and then just repeat that around again. And now for round 10, we're going to do 7 single crochet followed by an increase. And this should take you up to 54 stitches in a round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and increase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and an increase. All right, and then for round 11, we're going to do 8 single crochet followed by an increase, and this should take us up to 60 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then an increase. And you're going to want to do this 5 more times until the end. And for round 12, our repeat is going to be 9 single crochet followed by an increase to get 66 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then our increase. And you're just going to repeat that around. And then for the next couple of rounds, we're just going to be single crocheting around, keeping our 66 stitches in a round. So we're going to do rounds 13 to 16. And just single crochet around. We're only going to single crochet up to round 14 instead, and then from here we're going to increase again. And we're going to do 10 single crochet followed by an increase. And this should get us from 66 stitches to 72 stitches. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and an increase. And we'll repeat that around. And for our next round, we're going to be making 7 single crochet and then an increase. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then an increase. No, sorry, we're going to be doing 8 and then an increase. Alright, and after this round you should have 80 stitches. So now we're going to make 9 single crochet and then an increase and repeat that around to get 88 stitches in our round. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 are the increases. And we're just going to repeat this around to get 88 stitches at the end. Alright, and then for rounds 18 to 19, we're just going to single crochet around like before we start our decreases. Just want to make sure that you keep the same number of 88 stitches in each of rows 18 and 19. I'll just work this off camera and I'll be right back when we're ready to do round 20. And for round 20, we're going to be making 9 single crochet and decreasing as our repeat for this round. 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then a decrease. And this should get us from 88 stitches down to 80. So we're just going to repeat that around. Alright, and now for round 21, our repeat is going to be 8 single crochet followed by a decrease. This should get you down from 80 stitches to 72. So 1, 2, 3, grab our stitch marker, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then our decrease. And just repeat that around until you get to the other side and are ready for round 21, or 22, sorry. Okay, so for our next round, our repeat is going to be 7 single crochet, followed by a decrease. Three, and this should get you down to 64 stitches. 4, 5, 6, 7, and a decrease. And I'm trying to make my decreases as tight as possible to make the decrease as drastic as I can. So we're just going to repeat this around and then we'll do our next round. And then for round 23, we're going to make 6 single crochets followed by a decrease. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and decrease. And this should get our stitch count down to 56 stitches. And we'll just crochet that around and then come back for our last round of decreases. And for our next round, our repeat is going to be 5 single crochet followed by a decrease. 2, 3, 4, 5, and a decrease. And this should get you from 56 down to 48 stitches. So I'll finish that off camera and come back once I have that done. Alright, and then after this round is done, we should have the same number of stitches as we do around on the head. So we're going to make 2 slip stitches to finish off, and then we're going to fasten off, and I'm going to leave a really long tail for sewing on later. So I'm going to leave about 2 feet on, and then just cut your yarn. And now it's time for the dots. So as you can see, when you kind of flatten it out a little bit, it's going to be looking more like this. So, right. Now we're just going to grab our white yarn and cut off a decent sized piece. Sorry about that. And grab a darning needle. And then it's time to sew our polka dots or our little lines onto our hat. You can also crochet circles and sew them on, but I just wanted to do kind of sprinkles. So I'm just going to pull my yarn through, leaving a decent sized piece, and then we'll just go 2 rows down. That's about the size that I want them. I'm going to hold the yarn on the inside so I don't pull it through. And then we'll just sew it on like this. And just do that around. Another thing, depending what style you want, you could also make little X's, which I thought would be kind of cute. Something like that. But you can do whatever you want. I'm probably going to do these little X's around for dots. So just want to keep working your way around the hat, and don't make them too tight, otherwise they'll sink into the mushroom hat. Just like so. So I'm going to go and finish making these, and I'll be back when it's time for our next step. And once you have finished the dots, you're just going to want to tie off the yarn on the inside so that they can't come out. Just like so. And then our next step is going to be to put the eyes on the head. So you're going to want to grab 2 10mm eyes, safety eyes, or you can sew some on if you want, but I'm going to be using safety eyes for this one. So I'm going to be using these. I think they're a bit smaller than what I said, probably closer to like 8mm, but I'm not exactly sure. And I'm going to be attaching them closer to the bottom of the head because we're going to be attaching the hat right around here. So you're just going to want to kind of measure that. So I'm going to go about, well, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I'm going to go around 14 and 15. and stick the eyes right in between those two rows. There we go. Just like so, and then I'll go ahead and attach them, and then we can come back and stuff it. All right, and once you have the eyes attached, we're going to go ahead and partially stuff the head. So we're going to grab our polyester stuffing. I just want to move it around and make sure that you get it nice and evenly stuffed. I'm not going to stuff it completely because we're going to sew it on first. Of course, I did not leave a long tail to sew the head on, so I'm just going to have to be using this. So, you're going to grab your needle again, and we're going to be attaching our yarn on the back, right about where we ended off the body. So we'll just stick it in there and pull it almost through and tie it on. And you're going to want to make sure that the head is lined up straight, kind of like this. And then there should be the same number of stitches on both of these. So if you can kind of find the same stitch and just stick with that, going the whole way around. So let's see if we're attached. So yeah, that should be straight. And then the way I like to do it is just come here and then up in here. And here, and here. And then once you've gotten about this far for sewing the head on, then we're going to finish stuffing it. Just gonna stuff both the head and the body as full as you want, and then we'll close it up and just make sure it's looks even, and then we're good. And next I'm going to sew on the arms. So we're just going to grab one, and you'll kind of want to figure out the placement. I'm going to be putting mine on either side, just like this, like the same position that the bear was that I made. So I left long tails on these for sewing on. So we're just going to thread it through, and then figure out our placement. I'm just going to go through one stitch right here so that I can adjust it. So about like that. And then we'll just start to sew it on. And before you have the whole arm attached, just like with the head, you're going to want to stuff it a little bit. So I'll just grab a little bit more of our stuffing, just a small amount, and stick it into the arm. so that it's not completely flat. Just like so. And then you'll just finish sewing that on, and then we'll do the same to the other side. And then last but not least, it's time to put the hat on. So this hat should be the same size around as the widest part of the head. So you're just going to set it on and kind of adjust how you want it to be. I think I'm gonna go for kind of like this. And then we're just going to leave this part in the back so that we can attach it properly. Just gonna kind of fish around with it a little bit to figure out how I want it to be. Now you just kind of want to make sure it stays where you want it to be so it doesn't shift and then you get the hat on lopsided. So I'm just going to pick a point to start and then adjust the hat to where I want it. And we're just going to follow the same way that we sewed everything else on. It's just a little bit harder to show the weird angles. So I'm just going to sew this on for a bit, and I'm going to come back when I'm almost done so that we can stuff the hat a little bit yet. Also, one idea that you can do is use stitch markers to pin the hat on where you want it so that it will not move. So I'm going to go ahead and do that because I seem to be really good at sewing things on crooked. So just going to play it safe here. I think one will be good, just so I have kind of just something else to keep it in place as I'm working. So you can try that too if you want. Alright, and then when you've got the hat on about this much, so you have a little space here, we're going to stuff it, but we're not going to stuff it very much, that way we can still make it keep its shape. So we're just going to take a small amount and shove it up into the hat. You'll just kind of have to play it by ear to see how stuffed you want it, because I want it to be able to have a really nice mushroom shape, kind of like that. So I'm just going to do a very small amount. And then after you've stuffed it, we can keep sewing it on. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and feel free to check out my blog for free written patterns and my Instagram for more crochet inspiration. And I hope to see you guys next time.